Hello and welcome to another episode of Small Biz Highlight. My name is Tiffany Roman and I am your host. I want to thank you all for stopping by. For those of you that don't know, we're doing things a little differently this time around. Unfortunately, I have to be gone at military training this month, so I took the time to pre-record these videos to make sure that these awesome businesses have their opportunity to be featured on the day they were scheduled, despite my ability to go live with them. So instead of live, of course, we are pre-recorded, but feel free to check out the video, leave comments underneath here. Make sure you're liking, sharing the video. Let us know you're here watching us on replay. I really appreciate all the support and the dedication that a lot of you have shown as far as stopping by and taking the time to check out the episodes. I will be back in April live again with episodes just in time for my 1-year anniversary where a bunch of changes are going to come into play, and I will go through all of those again when I come back. So for now, I would like to take the time to introduce you to Miss Trinity Scott. She is with T3 Bookkeeping, and I will bring her on here. There's the button. There we go. Hello. How are you, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm sorry I had to, mess up the schedule just a little bit. Unfortunately, Army calls, but I'm so grateful you're willing to, be flexible with me and at least pre-record your episode.
Of course.
I want to always start the episodes with your chance to introduce yourself to people. So, Trinity, help us know, who are you?
Well, I am a mom of 4 kids now. My youngest is 7 and my oldest just turned 15 yesterday. So we're embarking on the driver's ed adventure now. Yeah. So, my husband and I have been married for nearly 22 years, and we got married young, and he was in the Navy when we got married, and was on a submarine stationed out of San Diego, California. And so I got my accounting degree from San Diego State University, and then we came home to Texas, where we're from, and he got his degree from the university in the small town where we live, and shortly, within a year of that, had our oldest son, and I was able to stay at home with him, and so I stayed at home with my kids for about 11 years, full time. Although I did take a year, I did actually end up teaching preschool 1 year, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, geez.
But anyway, so after about 11 years, we had completely outgrown our house. We lived in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that was about 1,295 square feet with 4 kids in it, and it was a little bit scrunched. So I started looking for another, a way to make money for our family that I could do without having to put all my kids in daycare, because around here, if I just went out and got a job, making minimum wage or even a little bit above that, the cost of daycare would have negated all of that. So, so I ended up starting my business, T3 Bookkeeping, which, is a good way to utilize my accounting degree. And I use a platform called Xero, which is Xero, and it's very similar to QuickBooks Online, but it's a little bit different, and that's what I use with my clients. I
Oh,
have been, yeah, I have been, in the past, I have been a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor as well. And I do still use QBO for one client and QuickBooks Desktop for another client, but Xero is really my preferred platform. And so all
okay.
my other clients are on Xero.
So your business has been up and running for how long officially?
4 years, 4.5 years now.
Jeez. That's
Yeah.
so exciting. Your story is so familiar. I know personally for me, I was definitely looking for a way to work from home when the kids were younger. And I know there's so many parents out there, new moms, whatnot, that are thinking, gosh, I want to be able to stay home. I don't want to miss anything. And I'm just so happy for you that, despite everything, you were able to figure things out and be able to work from home and be home for your kids. That has to be such a blessing.
Yeah, it is. And so, my clients know, or I try to tell them up front that, my work hours are generally 8 to 3 every, Monday through Friday. And that's when I'm most available to them. Of course, they reach me through email and other means as well, outside of those times, but I'm most responsive while my kids are at school, because otherwise, you're going to get the 7-year-old asking for a snack, or the you know the
Yes.
15-year-old asking for who knows what. So and they don't always acknowledge that mom's on the phone, and it's not a good time to talk. So yeah.
Oh, yes. With recording these videos and going live, there's been plenty of times where my kids have invaded the space and used me as a jungle gym. So I
Right.
definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so accounting. I'm very familiar with accounting. My stepdad's an accountant. Well, used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does a lot more investments now. But, he was always my human calculator, and I loved him for that. um,
Right.
were you always interested in math? Is that why you became an accountant? Was it just easy for you always?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it was always easy, but I was told early on that I had a math aptitude, and I did do the advanced math classes all through school. Um, but then when I got to college, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I actually started to do a pure math degree so I could teach. Um, and the first couple of classes I took were more challenging than I thought. I thought they were going to be, and so I ended up saying, "Well, I'll look at the accounting program." And once I got in there, I realized it's really not a lot of math. You add, subtract, multiply, and divide, but it's good to have the background because you can come up with formulas and things and help your work along. But really, it's a lot of law, basically business law, the IRS code, different things like that. So it's interesting. I don't know, but it kind of fits my personality because I'm a little bit of a rule follower, and uh, and I felt like I can talk to pretty much anybody, so that kind of fits my personality too. So
Well, this is
yeah.
your time of year, isn't it? Because of
Yeah.
tax season.
It is. So I actually don't do taxes. I do bookkeeping and payroll, and everything that goes along with that. Sometimes I do sales tax returns depending on the client, and I do You can't completely get away from taxes because you have sales taxes, you have 1099s, you have
Yes.
payroll taxes, things like that. But I don't do tax returns. But when it comes around to tax season is usually when people realize that their books are a mess and that they need to get things in order because either this year they need to file or they want to turn over a new leaf and start for next year, so they won't be grasping when they get to that point where they need to turn over some records to whoever is going to prepare their taxes.
Yeah. So how involved is bookkeeping? Are you doing it for businesses and families and individuals, or is it strictly businesses? How does that work?
Well, right now I only have business clients. I have thought about getting into personal finance just because it's kind of on my heart to help other people to be able to do what I did, which was stay home with my kids and and to be able to realize that they can do things like that if they just make a few changes, which I'm not the best example of that. My husband and I have done Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University, and we had some friends kind of mentor us for a little bit and help us to work out a budget and things like that. And so even for somebody with an accounting degree, I mean, I know the head knowledge. I knew back then the head knowledge of this makes more sense financially and stuff like that. But sometimes you get in a mindset that's you're like, well, these are my bills and this is what I have to pay, and I can't afford to do anything else or whatever. But if you just have somebody help you look at things in just a little bit different way, sometimes that helps to get out of that groove and to see how bigger things are possible, which we got to build our bigger house this last year and move into it and everything, but we also tried very hard, to stick to a budget when we did it and things like that. And so my end goal with my business, I want to help my clients and help my customers, but it's not a get rich scheme to me. I don't feel like that should be the sole focus, And if I were talking to somebody about their personal finances, that would not be my focus. We're not building massive wealth. We're just trying to help people be disciplined and know, and also just know what is a smart thing to do with their money, like one loan versus another loan. What's the difference? What with interest rates and different things, there's things out there that are predatory that people don't realize that it doesn't really make sense to do that. But I don't have any personal finance clients right now. So I don't know why I'm talking about that so much, but my business clients.
Because you said that's an interest for you for the future. It's okay to get passionate about it. That just proves that you're ready for it. That's all it is.
Yeah. So But my business clients, I just try to help them be organized with their finances, with their um, and to be able to give them reports that they need to determine their profitability and what income stream is most profitable for them, or um, you know I had somebody come to me just last week and say, well, I don't really know if I made this much money or this much money. And it was a big gap between those two numbers, so
Oh boy.
that's, yeah. So that's one of the things that it's really important for business owners. And sometimes, this guy particularly, he had started his business kind of on the side with just one helper, part-time, very part-time, and it grew so fast that all of a sudden he has 8 employees and doesn't know his numbers, so it's kind
Goodness.
of yeah, so it can happen to the best of us, definitely. So yeah.
Well, at least you're there to help make sure that everything's good to go. Because, goodness, can you imagine getting so overwhelmed by your business working out so well, and then you forget about the fact that you actually have to keep track of what's going on financially? Oh, goodness. I couldn't imagine the heck
Right.
that would cost for like tax season, like
Yeah.
right now, for so many businesses. Goodness.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the ugly word, COVID. I know you said your business has been
Right.
running for about 4 years now. Um, and I'm just wondering, what kind of effect did COVID have on your business, despite, you already working from home?
Hmm. Well, actually, because I was already working from home and doing most of the meetings I have with clients, most of my clients are remote clients, and I use Zoom already with them. So it really hasn't had a lot of effect on my business. We just kind of plodded along and continued with what we were doing. I have a couple of clients that were um, very imaginative in pivoting during COVID and adapting their income streams to remote circumstances. So they they were able to do pretty well during COVID to continue.
Well, that's good. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Yeah, that seems to be a very common um, talking point as far as COVID with businesses. Just I think that's the word for businesses overcoming COVID.
Mhm.
Just being creative, going out of their
Mhm.
comfort zones and reaching out to do something different for their business so that it can, move
Right.
forward that next step. That's definitely been the theme as I interview so many
Mhm.
businesses. Now, do you solely
Yeah.
help businesses in the Texas region that you are? Because Texas is huge, let's face it. Texas is its own country. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
do you only help businesses in Texas, or would you be open to businesses in other states?
I've worked with businesses in other states, and I don't. I have most of my clients are in Texas right now, but working. I mean, I actually even have a client whose business is technically UK limited, and so he bills in euros, and I do his invoicing for him. So
Geez, so you're international, is what you're telling me.
kind of. So yeah.
That's so cool. So if you are just catching this video,
Yeah.
I have been chatting with Miss Trinity Scott here of T3 Bookkeeping. She's been giving a lot of great advice as far as, finances go. Even if you are trying to look for help with your personal finances, she definitely gave some great tips. So if you missed it, that's okay. You can catch it on replay. Just be on the lookout for the video. Trinity, I want to thank you for, being so flexible with pre-recording this episode with me, despite having to be gone for the military. Just taking the time out of your day to be here. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it too.
It has been a pleasure. I really hope you have a great rest of your day. And, I look forward to the episode airing on its normal time, which should be March 15th at 6 p.m. So
All right.
if it is not March 15th at 6 p.m., the computer system that I'm using to broadcast these episodes while I'm gone has failed me. I'm just putting that out there.
No.
So everything will go as planned so that Trinity has her spot to, share her story with all of you on the page, even though I am not here. But yes, so thank you to all of you who happened to stop by during the broadcast. Be sure to share, leave comments. Trinity, I know, would be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So ask away into the comments. And with that, I shall leave you all. Have a great day. And remember to support your community and put it first by shopping small and supporting local.